Hello, I welcome you to the podcast.
The Charlie and Kendall is a blast.
Hey guys!
Welcome back.
We're so excited for you to be listening in on our podcast today.
We have a special guest here, Phillis Wheatley.
Hey guys, it's Phillis Wheatley here.
And we are going to ask you right now to go on Twitter and ask us questions with the hashtag Phillis Wheatley Q&A. And we're going to ask her some questions.
So excited to hear what you guys have to ask.
Oh, look, some are already coming in.
Yeah. So our first question is from Official Hybrid English 8675309. They ask, who is Phillis Wheatley?
I'm the first African-American published poet who unfortunately had to suffer through the terror of slavery at a very young age.
I'm really sorry that happened to you, and it sounds like such an awful experience, but I feel like you definitely have become such a stronger person because of it.
Okay, our next question is from Visible153, and he asked, what was it like to be a slave?
That's a very loaded question, and I can answer it as best as I can. So it was very difficult to be a slave when I was younger. It was as if I was a cat stuck in a tree, being dangled over the possibility of even having freedom. I was lucky. The people who I was a slave for would treat me very well, in perspective of everything that was going on at the time. And however, it was nothing like being free and not being told what to do and not having to do what everyone tells you to.
That's very heartfelt, and I really appreciate that answer.
Thank you.
So the next question is from pro_abolition1, and he asked, who is William Legge and when did you meet him?
William Legge is the Earl of Dartmouth, and while I was in England for the publication of my collected poems, I met this man. I knew he was a friend of the Countess of Huntington, a supporter of my work and the abolition of slavery, so I was kind of hoping that he would share the same dreams as her and as me. And because of this, he had opposed the Stamp Act, and he was considered a friend of the colonists, and I was hoping a friend to myself.
Wow. Facts. Okay, so we have another question, and it's from 973 Stephanie, and she asked, why do you believe that America should have independence from the British monarch?
Wow, that's a really good question. I guess I would say that, because of the 7 Years' War, Britain came to America to tax us, and they imposed all these taxes on us in order to collect our money, including the Stamp Act. And the fact that they felt comfortable stealing our money in order to afford a war that they chose to participate in makes me feel as though they never truly saw us as a part of their nation.
Good point. So we have another question from Charlie Sketch 53. I like your name. But she asked, Phillis Wheatley, what are your hopes for America?
Wow. I have a lot of hopes, but I guess
Gotta have high hopes for America.
I love that song.
Me too.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, to answer your question, Charlie, I would say that all I can hope for is that eventually America will gain its freedom back from the English monarch, and I'm hoping that this is with the help of the Earl, my great and my most powerful ally.
All right. So
We have some controversial questions that have been asked by, if you want to call them quote-unquote haters. Okay, so we have a question from Phillis Wheatley Hater, and she asked, why is a woman of color featured on this podcast? I want Ariana Grande.
This is the kind of question that degrades America as a nation. There's no difference between you and I, only the mere color of our skin. I have just as much right as you do. Just as much talent, just as much potential. However, the one difference between us is that I'm not afraid to fight and speak out for what I believe in. I would never hide behind a screen in order to do so.
That is a great response to such a hateful question.
Yeah, thank you.
watch out, Phillis Wheatley Hater.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
So, Phillis Wheatley, Charlie and I have a question just for you. Charlie, do you want to ask that question?
Yeah, so what was the purpose of your poem?
Well, I wrote
to the Right Honourable William, Earl of Dartmouth, to thank him for his support of the colonies against the British rule, including his opposition to the Stamp Act. And also, I would like to thank him for his belief that not just the colonies should be free from the British rule and be treated as equals, but that the people in the colonies should as well. And that is why I asked him to use his power high up in the system in order to help with the abolition of slavery and the freeing of the colonies from British monarch.
So we have one last question that we wanted to ask you, and this one's from Erin Sanchez 7812. She asked, do you have any advice for women who aspire to be like you?
I guess that I would just say that in every human beast, God has implanted a principle, which we call love of freedom. It is impatient of oppression and pants for deliverance.
Well, Phillis Wheatley, I believe that was a very wonderful motivational thing to say. I really think that the people who are listening really benefited from this, and I'm really glad that you came here today.
Oh, thank you. I'm really, really happy that you guys invited me, and I hope that I really inspired someone out there, just one person, to make a change in their lives and to help others and to make themselves feel better along with other people. And I'm grateful that you guys asked me, and I really hope that I can come back another time.
Thank you, Phillis Wheatley, for joining us.
Catch us next week, or there will be some sus.
My name's Jeff.